Welcome back to the Casting Cost cEDH podcast. I'm Blake.
And I'm Chase, and today we're talking about restarts in cEDH. Oh my goodness. But yeah, tonight we are talking about restarts in cEDH. Now it's kind of a different concept, and I feel like this is something that we've heard people kind of talk about within the past few months. I think Critical's kind of talked about it. I know that we've had some players even here in the US that have competed across the pond and have talked about restarts. I know Matt Hayes has kind of participated in that. And I think Max P's kind of talked about them too because of the event that they played in together for that. But it's definitely an interesting concept. Plus, we didn't really know what to talk about tonight because there's not a whole lot going on except maybe the baby crying in the background. I don't know if you can hear that, so someone's pissed, but
It's all good.
it's all good.
We originally had planned we were gonna record a top 10 breakdown like we do.
We might do that in a couple weeks.
We're gonna still do it
We're
for
still gonna
sure.
do it.
But we were gonna record with Zach Adler, but he just had something come up last minute. So then me and Chase sat here for like a legit hour, being like, "What do you want to talk about?" And then each one of us was like, "I don't know. What do you want to talk about?" And then I asked ChatGPT.
It's the same bullshit we go through every week. Just about.
Yeah. This time we actually did plan, and the plan fell through.
Yeah.
So we back to the original plan, which is no plan.
So, yeah, he was saying we asked ChatGPT. I think I was just like, that doesn't sound good enough. So we're going with something that I kind of thought about earlier on today, just because I feel like we're in a interesting spot in the meta again, and maybe that will kind of be reflected in what the fuck are the cats doing right now? They're going to ape shit. They running it out of the door, flinging this door open next to me.
You got dark all of a sudden. You got dark because the
oh,
door,
did I? Well, let me change that real quick.
The door reflected the light back to us. And then here we go. Another one just came in. He said, "I'm not trapped in here with you. You're trapped in here with me."
I fucking love that movie.
It's a very good movie.
It's a good movie. If you know what movie that is, drop it down in the comments down below. But yeah, we literally have been sitting here for a while just going what the fuck are we going to talk about? And before the whole door and cat fiasco that happened just then, I don't know. I think our meta it's in a good spot, but something I'm kind of noticing doing the top 16 breakdowns is we are seeing a shift kind of again. Yes, turbo decks are still performing, like Ral and Rogsai specifically, but we are seeing a lot of mid-range also kind of, still being super viable. And this kind of drew my interest, the whole idea of the restarts, whenever I covered the European Championship, the Road to Munich, a couple weeks ago, and someone had commented on there saying they felt like a lot of the mid-range decks were actually able to kind of survive and perform well at that event specifically because of the restart rules and allowing, if game states got bogged down or they were able to stop an early win attempt, instead of it just being a draw that the players agree on, they can just literally restart the round and play a second round almost. That's kind of what I'm gathering as far as how I kind of see that concept playing out. But it was an interesting comment. It was a good comment in that. But I think they also kind of followed that up with what would that be like if we had that in the US? Because it's not something that we have here. It's typically just part of the European meta. And so for those of you that might not be aware of what a restart is, literally just quick Google search, it is an agreement between all remaining players to end the current game and begin a new one, often as a way to avoid a stalemate or a non-deterministic situation. And when you're doing that, it's not that you are just restarting everything. Yes, you're resetting the board state. You go into the turn order that it originally was, but obviously you can't reset the clock. Like, so you literally play with whatever time you have left. If players decide that they want to have a restart in, cats are going fucking wild tonight. What is this? All right, I'll let y'all out.
What's gonna happen is you're gonna start to let them out, and then they're gonna go, "Fuck you, we don't want to leave." See, I told you. But
But like, I don't know. It's definitely a interesting thing.
I think that it's very interesting because I feel like most of the people that play with restarts kind of like it. At least from what I've heard. I've not really heard a ton of people say like negative things about it, but I feel like I've heard good things from the people that play in a lot of tournaments that talk about it. I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is that like just from like what I would assume is going to happen in that situation is like, let's say you are a deck that like a mid-range deck. You want to mulligan super aggressively. You're trying to find your like value engine. You know, you're being super greedy. You're like, I'm going to keep a turn 1 Rhystic Study. And you don't find your Rhystic Study. You don't find your Esper Sentinel, your fish, or anything. And then you get down to like that 4 or that 3. And you're like, hell, I'm not getting there. I'm going to keep like Pact of Negation and a Force of Will and like a blue card, and then the first time somebody pushes in the game, you go, hey, I can stop this, but I don't have to. Do y'all want to restart the game? Because you look at the person, you're like, you're definitely not getting there, Rogsai. And then you look at the other 2 decks, and you're like, but they will if y'all don't all agree to a draw right now. And then everybody goes,
Just like literally hold the table hostage.
yeah.
Like,
And then, and then everybody's like, okay, let's restart. And then you're mulliganing again. And then they do that process again. Not that that's what happens, because again, I'm not from the European meta. I play in the US meta, which uses a different system, just
Right.
like the whole metric system and the whole other bullshit. We don't get on the same page. We don't use the same systems. But yeah, so I don't know. I think that would I definitely like having that option because I hate having to be like, well, I can't win, so take the draw, and then I'm sitting on like 9 pieces of interaction. I would love to be like, shuffle up, play again. We got 20 minutes, like, and everybody go, okay, and then we just do it again.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a cool concept, but it is one of those things like what you were saying where, like, if you kind of get in this situation where either you mulligan too aggressively and then now you're having to plan for a restart, or whenever you are just like for us now, I guess trying, like if you get in that position and you're trying to play for a draw at that point, but that just feels bad. At least with a restart, you can play towards that, and then you get the additional time to make up, like, or not necessarily additional time, but like you get an additional chance at a round, and your mulligans kind of reset to try to make up for it. um it does kind of it puts the players on a very interesting situation. Like, even kind of briefly looking at this, like, one of the things I came across is like the idea of like, does this kind of entice the idea of like collusion as well? Because then you can put like players in a lot of like difficult positions where it's like, if this person has like a overwhelming lead, like 3 Rhystic Studies on board, and then now everyone's having to draw the attention to that player, and then like basically trying to put them into a position where it's like, well, shit, I have no choice but to restart the game. Like, I don't know if that's necessarily a strategy like anyone necessarily goes for right off the bat, but it's like, in that situation, then you restart the game, and then you kind of have one person that's put into a feels bad moment. How's that next game gonna like, what's gonna happen?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't know, man. If somebody's sitting with 3 Rhystic Studies and y'all can convince them to restart the game, then I say more power to you. Because if I have 3 Rhystic Studies, I don't give a fuck, dude. It ain't happening. Like, I'd be like, that's fine.
Yeah, but
Play it out.
your whole thing will be like, in response to the restart, I'm gonna cast an Angel's Grace and No, actually, you agree to the restart. You just mulligan down for to an Angel's Grace and draw out the game anyway.
Correct. That's like my whole play pattern currently. Just
Just
nah.
literally Angel's Grace.
No, I definitely. I've been trying to push more in games. Like it feels really bad whenever you have a game where you just never present any sort of like win attempt. And I think that's what I've noticed more with like I'm seeing that with more decks. Like there's more density of win cons or cards to like to help at least make you see, I guess, like more cards, like things like the Nas, the Necro, that kind of stuff. I think that people are okay with just saying, at least here, like in the US, that I've noticed, like people are okay with just saying, like, fuck it, I'm going to send it. And if I don't get there, I don't get there. That's not everybody, obviously, but like a lot more people are okay with that because I think that they can feel better about saying, like, I tried and then I got stopped versus saying, I never tried. You know what I mean? And I find that in a lot of events, like, if I don't make an attempt, I feel kind of bad because I'm like, fuck, dude, like I never even attempted to find the window. So like, of course I'm not going to win those games. So I don't know, having a restart would sometimes feel really good because like as a control player, I'm able to lock the game down to those weird like bogged down board states. But I kind of need that game state to do well, if that makes sense, like with the deck that I'm playing. And so I feel like restarts would really hurt me because then it's like I want to be in this bogged down board state, and then everybody's like restart, 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 and I'm like, no.
Well, yeah, and I think the thing is like the thing with this specifically, and it's just like how IDs would be, is that all players that are in the game have to agree to do the restart anyway. And I think that you making that comment on like you as a control player, it almost puts you like in a worse position. Like if you've either, countered everyone's shit, removed their pieces, done this, that, and the other to control the state of the game, and then everyone just starts like going after you because, oh, well, this person doesn't want to do the restart, so let's fucking get him. Like, then, that just creates like this really bad taste in it. I feel like almost everyone's mouth.
Yeah.
Because then, you might have one person that's very adamant about it. You might be the person that's not, one person that's on the fence, and then the other person that doesn't really want to do it. But in order to even have a chance at winning, they have to go with it. And so it's just like you get all these different kind of opinions on the different state of the game, and the people just go, I don't really want to do this, but I guess we're going to have to in order to make it happen. And then by that point in time, there's probably only like 15 minutes left on the clock anyway, and it'll end up in a draw.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it sucks, man, because as long as they're there, people will actively like search for those. Like I think that almost some people go into games even like kind of like in our current like in the US meta, but you will see people that will intentionally be like say fourth seat and they realize I'm not going to get there. I'm keeping a hand that's forcing a draw. And like Yaw even talked about that where like his one card that he freaking hates is Pact Negation. Because he's like, it literally forces so many draws, and it's such a feels bad because you're like, well, I can cast it, but I'm going to kill myself if I do, so like I want the draw. And then that's a good way for you to basically tell everybody, like, well, I can stop the win here, and if I don't, they're going to get there, but also this really hurts me. Whereas like a force of will doesn't really do anything besides like put you down a card. So, or, technically two cards, but like you pitch a card and you play it, and so you can't really be like, well, I want the draw here. I mean, you can, but people be like, dude, you just use the force of will and then you're still alive. Like you can keep going. But if you're like, well, I have to pact on turn 2, I don't have the mana to pay for it. Like you really put me in a hard spot. I don't want to play it unless I'm actually going to get something out of it. So I don't know.
Well, it might be those situations though that a restart would be better. If people are looking at it from that perspective, where it's just like exactly what you're saying. Turn 2, Pact Negation. Hey, I can stop this active win attempt right here, or I can let it go through. The only thing I have to save it is this Pact Negation. Y'all just want to restart the game. And probably when that happens, you probably still have like, 70, 65 minutes left on the clock. And I think that's the kind of situation most players would be like, sure, fuck it. Like, let's go ahead, restart, shuffle up, and go at it again. Because then in that scenario, like the active player that's pushing, they get another chance technically then to try to win,
Mhm.
right? And the other two players in the scenario, they get an opportunity to kind of go for it again. And the person that actually had the pact of negation in hand and actually stopped the win actually gets an opportunity to go for it again as well,
Mhm.
because now they're not completely out. They have less time than what they had, and they have to shuffle up and mulligan down again and spend like another 10, 15 minutes doing that.
Yeah.
Sometimes, if you're like me, going down to like 2 or 3 cards. But like, then it actually feels good to be able to have a restart in moments like that, because then it's like you can utilize the pact negation or a spell that's gonna like put you significantly behind in a way
Mhm.
where it's just like, hey, this doesn't feel good for any of us. Let's just do it again.
Yeah. I've been on the receiving end of like forced draws before, and I don't think it ever feels good when you're like stuck in a situation where like the draw is forced. I think that I've tried to be better about saying like rather than trying to force the draw, unless it just makes the apps like actual sense to do it, like just letting the game naturally progress to a draw. Like I don't go into the game saying I want to draw this game. I go into the game saying I still want to win, but if
Right.
at some point like a draw, it literally just makes the most sense, then like cool. And I think that that's where restarts would be like really good if something happens and you just look at the game and it's like this game is actually like fucked. Like lots of missed triggers, something has happened, and then a judge comes over and he's like, okay, fuck this, like restart. I think that that would be fine. I mean, I'm not saying that the
Yeah.
restart rule is wrong. Like I said, a lot of people
Right.
seem like they like it, and I
Yeah.
think it'd be interesting to try.
Well, even with what you're saying there, like like just kind of going based off of this like very quick search, it says like one of the main purposes is to like avoid stalemates and deadlocks. And then like we've already kind of talked to there on like the domination aspect of things, but again, if you utilize the that, I feel like it does kind of get into that whole like collusion ganging up 3v1 like territory, like creates feels bad moments. But I definitely think whenever the game state is like so bogged down with either all these value engines, all these triggers, like you're saying, like you're missing a bunch of triggers, or everyone is just like not keeping up with the game state, like it's almost easier just to restart. And like at that point in time, you might, again, you might only have like 30 minutes on the clock, but like that's almost like, to me, that's almost better taking a restart in that moment than it is to like miss so much stuff that it just like accidentally gives someone else like a disproportionate advantage, or judge has to come over and put that time on the clock anyway because they're spending 10, 15 minutes trying to resolve the stack or resolve certain issues or things like that. It's almost being like, this is too complicated with what we've created. Let's just back it down. Let's restart. Let's go again. Like I think that that is probably the best case scenario in trying to utilize it, outside of like, oh, I'm doing this to just stop your win attempt. Like, it's kind of like, I don't think people are actively going for a restart. I don't think people are actively going for the draw. Um, but I mean, it's nice to, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, it's a very confusing thing, but it's one of those things that we ourselves have not experienced, because this is just something that's not part of not just our local scene, but our just meta across the country. It's something that we're not really familiar with. I think that maybe Logan and Austin have talked about the idea of like trying restarts within the league. From my, like, I think they talked about that maybe a week or so ago on keeping tabs, or whenever they did. I believe that they did. So it'd be kind of interesting to see how it even starts like at that, if they make that decision there too.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure, man. Like I said, I wonder who it would really benefit the most. Like, if it benefits the mid range decks or if it benefits the turbo decks faster or like more. Because I don't know. I'm thinking of it from two different perspectives. It's like the mid range deck is looking for a value engine, doesn't find it, keeps a hand that forces a restart. The turbo deck tries to jam, doesn't get there, and then now is dead set on force a restart. You as the turbo deck are finding early opportunities to push. So if you can't get there, being able to force that restart and say, cool, now I get to like go into a brand new game and try to push again
Yeah.
is pretty strong. But then also as like the mid range deck, it's like, okay, I didn't find what I was looking for. Keep a hand that forces a restart, stop the turbo deck, whatever. And then just brand new set of mulligans. I'm getting to see like twice as many cards now.
Yeah.
Go again. So I don't know. But then like I just think about, I guess from like a control perspective, I don't know, as a control player, I don't know. I think it's cool, but I don't think it benefits me. I guess maybe I'm just not maybe it's something I'm missing. I would love to test it just to try, because I'm always open to try like what the fuck ever. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting if
Yeah.
nothing else. I think that it's a cool tool to have. But again, like it kind of goes back to that same thing of I wonder if people feel like they get forced into restarts quite a bit, because I don't know. Like there was a game that I had here. It was whenever we were at game nights, and while we were there was one player that was just like really wanting to force the draw, and then another player that was like totally okay with a draw if it happened. So I had like two players basically trying to force a draw. One of them was like pretty locked out of the game, so he was like, "We got to take the draw," and then the other one was like, he mulliganed really low, and he was in fourth seat, so he was like, kind of like, I'm just playing for the draw. And it was one of those pact negation situations, like, I'm willing to spend this if you don't take the draw. And then there was another deck that, like, they all asked me, like, all three players were like, do you want the draw? And I was looking at my hand, and I had an active push in my hand, but I was going to have to fight through a shit ton of interaction. But I felt like, I'm at least going to try. And they were like, you got to take the draw, I got to take the draw, I got to take the draw. And I was like, no. And I mean, it literally got hostile. Like, one of the players got like very upset that I wouldn't accept the draw and was like, why not? Why not? And I was like, I'm not going to give you the information as to why not. And then the other player was just like, man, I'm telling you, like, I'm going to do what I have to do to stop you. And if it throws the game and like gives another player a win, I'll do it. And then this other player that was at the table, he looked at me, and I remember this. He was on like the Hepatra, the guard deck.
Yeah.
And he looks at me and he goes, are you just like opposed to draws, or you're just saying like you just won't take one if it doesn't make sense? And I was like, no, I just won't take it if it doesn't make sense. I'm not opposed to it. I was like, I'll gladly take a draw if it makes sense. And I think he played like Contamination, so all my lands tapped for just black. And I was like, I'll take the draw. And so it's kind of one of those situations where I think if a restart makes sense, I think it's fine to say like, yeah, cool, like we'll do that.
Well, I was about to ask, like in that situation before the Contamination came down, like knowing you had to fight through all the interaction and things like that, like if restarts were a thing, would you have taken a restart in that moment?
If they'd offered it to me instead of a draw?
Yeah.
Nah, because I think it's the same thing, kind of. I don't know how to explain it. I probably would have wanted to try and push and then get stopped and then be like, okay, I'll take a restart.
Yeah.
But then that also creates like a weird thing where, I mean, you're using the rules to your benefit, which you should do if you're trying to win. But I honestly think that if I had the opportunity to take a restart, I may have not even took the draw there, like the restart there. I probably would have still been like, fuck it, I'll see another card. And if we can get a restart, then like, okay, I'll go into my turn and like draw an extra card and see. But like right there, I just knew with like what I had in my hand, I was like, this stops me. So like,
well, then I guess the other like part of that is like, even if having the restart there wouldn't have incentivized you more to push towards the restart, do you think that if the restart was a thing that you had access to, do you think the other players would have been as hostile towards you in that moment?
ooh, that's really interesting.
Because I think that's kind of another way of looking at that too. Of like, if we get into these situations where the cat's just over here fucking up the door, it'd be like, take the fucking restart. But like, no. Do I need to let you out? Yeah, let me let you out.
This episode is going to be called Why Cats Hate Doors. I'm telling you, you're going to open the door and she's going to run away. We've done it.
We did it.
What was the question? What, like, would they have been as hostile if the restart was an option?
Yeah, like if the restart was something that would have been on the table, do you feel like people would have like not responded in that way, whether it be like either being more aggressive towards you or like I don't know. Like that's kind of the thing with this. I feel like we're talking about like sometimes not, I mean, we have this issue with the draws as well, but it does kind of create Phil's bad moments. It has the potential for someone to push too aggressively, like what you're talking about there in like the tournament setting. Like I don't know. I think that even though I was asking you that question, I think that they could have probably responded better if they felt like that option was on the table.
Yeah. So for like, I guess more context, it was a weird pod, but so I was in seat 1. I don't really like being in seat 1. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know it sounds crazy. Most of my wins in tournaments come from seat 4. I know it sounds so stupid to say that, but there's something about being able to like sandbag your interaction because you're behind. I don't know. I don't know if it's just something but that's something I've noticed. I use Play Nice as my tracker, and like most games where I'm in seat 1, maybe it's a mulligan too aggressively or what. I don't know, but like I just don't have good success with it. And then when I am in the later seats, you would think that's when you would want to mulligan aggressively, but I get like nervous and I'm not going to get to do anything, so I mulligan a little more conservatively, I guess. And then I play the game more. I don't know, but whatever. But yeah, like it was me, Tim Nadargo, the Patra deck, and then Malcolm Bruce. And like Malcolm Bruce, like mulligan so low. It was like 2 or 3. It was fucking bad. I felt bad for him. Really cool guy. Very cool guy. Yeah, and then the Tim Nadargo player was not happy because I was saying exactly what they were gonna do. And I saw it coming from a mile away because I've played the deck and they did not like that I knew exactly what they were gonna do. And then at one point they tutored something and then bled the card really bad. And hide your cards. I don't fucking know what to tell you, but I've just called it out. I don't give a shit. And people will be like, oh, I wouldn't do that. I don't care. You showed me the card, whether you meant to or not. I see the card. I wasn't looking for it, but I mean, it was bled bad. So then I basically called out what was going to happen. But it was, so like, I think that I had already created maybe like a little bit of hostility by doing that at the table. And that's why when, you know, whenever
So it wasn't because you were ahead, it's because you're an asshole.
correct, but I wanted that One Ring, man. No, different game, but
Different game. And probably whenever I just said asshole, then my mic just went the whole time.
the microphone turned into an asshole. But
I don't know if we can keep that in. We'll cut that.
Fuck it. Let's do a restart. No.
Oh,
you have to also agree. No,
what?
You have to
We're
agree.
gonna restart the whole episode.
Welcome back to the Casting
That felt pretty good.
Hell yeah, dude. But no, man. It was yeah, I don't know. Like what happened too was like it looked like one person was like actively going for a push. And again, you don't know what other people have. And I'm playing against a deck that like mulligan super low. The only interaction they have is like Suicide Pact. And then the other person is like fucking Tim Nadargo, completely shut off, has nothing. And then you're me, which has like a ton of answers. And they're like seeing this person actively push, and then like they offer the draw. This person agrees to a draw, and then the one person that is not actively in a push did not want the draw, and they were like, "You're out of your mind. Like we will force you to take the draw here, because like if you don't, like this person just wins."
Right.
And I was like, "No, they don't. Like I promise you, they don't, because I run dumb cards." But you know what I mean. So like, and it turns out I had everything that I
Did you
needed.
have an Angel's Grace in hand?
I had a lot of stuff in hand, but yes. I had more than the Angel's Grace. I had a lot of interaction. I think I was sitting on like 5 or 6 pieces. Like it was a lot. But yeah. And I mean, Luke could cast all of it too. But so like, I mean, they literally said, they were like, we can't stop it. But then it turned into a situation to where like, again, the contamination was kind of a good example of that, where they played the contamination and the other players were like literally willing to defend it, like with their fucking lives. They were like, I will defend this. And I was like, damn. Okay. So like I have to take the draw here. And so that's why I was like, okay, I'll take the draw. But yeah. So now when I say interaction, like not all of it was counter spells, because I know people will be like, we have 5 or 6 pieces, why didn't you fight through all of it? Like a lot of it was like removal, like onboard stuff, because like there was an onboard deck. So I was like, I'm good. But yeah, I mean, it just kind of felt bad, obviously, to be forced in that position. But at the same time, like, once it made the most sense, I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, I'm not opposed to doing that. But at the same time, like, I've talked about this before with Zach, too. Like, I still want to have autonomy in the game. Like, I want to be able to make decisions for myself. And I'm not gonna force somebody to do something, and I don't want to be forced into doing it. But like at the same time, I'm willing to listen to the other players at the table and let my actions be influenced if I think that it makes sense. But I know because I'm a very political player in the game that like a lot of times people don't have your best interest at heart. They have their best interest at heart. So if someone is like yelling at the top of their lungs, like take the draw, they're probably not in a good spot. So then I'm like, oh, I like this. Like, no, But so I think a restart would be like kind of just. I think essentially you just replace the word restart with draw, and it's any time that a draw would come up, it's just a restart instead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like even as part of this, it's like it's talking about that concept there is intentional draw versus a restart,
Yeah.
where it says intentional draw is a way to end a game with no winner or loser, usually by agreeing to an ID in the match result. A restart is a form of an intentional draw where the game immediately ends and a new one begins. Um, this is kind of interesting, though. It does go on to say an ID is not allowed during a final top four elimination phase, but a restart may be performed if all players agree.
I mean that makes sense because like you can't have a draw in like that top pod.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that. I think that's cool.
I don't know. That's kind of one of those things where I just like, I feel like if they allowed it in one aspect of the tournament, they should allow it almost in all. And a restart does make a lot more sense, like in the top four pod, just to make
That makes
sure
sense.
the
Yeah.
games aren't going on like extensively long.
Yeah.
Things like that. But I don't know. It's definitely an interesting thing. I would be, yeah. I just think it would be like a interesting thing to see happen. I don't know. I do think that kind of piggybacking off of something that you said just a little bit ago of like what decks would benefit the most from it. Like I could see Turbo wanting it for the same point that you were saying as far as like um getting like a second opportunity to present an early win. Like if they presented one, got stopped, can go for it again. Like especially with like how Ral and Rogsai are specifically those two. Like Atali is still like putting up numbers at times, but not as consistently as with those two decks. It seems right now in the format, but like giving those decks in particular like another opportunity to go off, I don't think that they would see that as a bad thing, right? I think that especially since you're not changing the seat order or anything like that. Like say if the Storm player is sitting in seat one, they'll probably be like, "Fuck yeah, let's try it again." Like I got stopped here and now I'm offered a restart. Yes, let me take it. Like I'm gonna try. But I think from what we're seeing out of the European meta, like it's almost like the mid range and slower decks are benefiting the most off of it. Like being able to, going back to that point you made on like seeing another like two sets of seven off of the mulligans and utilizing whatever time is left in the round to like go again, especially if like same scenario where it's like a Ral or Rogsai sitting seat one, and then you're forced into a restart. And now you give all these decks another opportunities to like mulligan aggressively look for value engines, whatever it might be that they need to like outpace the Rogsai game plan. Like it seems like those decks are the ones that are kind of benefiting the most at the moment. Control wise, I don't fucking know. I mean, I know that whenever I covered that event, it was a fucking mono blue Teferi deck that won it all. And so, I mean, maybe I don't know. It's just an interesting concept. It's one like we've kind of pointed out a couple times. We definitely don't have it here. I'd be interested to know if like maybe that's something that gets incorporated next year or not, because I know we kind of shifted more into the mindset of like the draws, but that has been one of the biggest things this year that has been on people's mind is like, what do we do about the draw scenario, or what do we do about the seed order stuff? And maybe a restart is kind of a way of not necessarily fixing it, and it's not necessarily the like the end all be all answer to it, but maybe it's something to kind of have in the mix of those discussions going into next year to see if it could be something that helps kind of counteract the problems or issues people were seeing out of the draw meta that we had earlier on in the year.
I don't know, man. It's so the game is weird, but I feel like, say for instance, like you was like a Sisay pilot. I feel like you're going to benefit more from a game that goes longer because your early pushes are a lot of times, like now that Dockside's no longer in the format, is it's not going to be as strong of like an early push. You're going to push very late, but they're very protected pushes because it's activations, not casting spells, where you have to survive is in that early game. So I wonder how that affects someone like you, for instance, where now you have somebody that can just basically die on, like they can dive on the grenade that is an ad nause for you, restart the game, and you're like, fuck it, I get the mulligan again, and like go for it. Or if it actually like hurts you because now these mid-range players are sculpting very good hands and it's never getting to that stage of the game that you would want to get to. Do you know what I mean? Like I would love to see how the decks that do really well here stack up consistently there, or if it is very different. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure obviously like for the most part like Blue Farms and Kennen, like that kind of stuff is like pretty good. But I wonder if there are any strategies that normally do very well here that consistently aren't doing that well there, just to like see if the meta actually is pretty different. You know what I mean? Because when you look at EDH Top 16, it takes like a whole snapshot of like everything. I wonder if you just like literally broke it down and you were like US meta, European meta, this meta over here.
That'd be interesting.
If the meta is like actually pretty different.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that that's really cool. It's got me really thinking. But I think me as like, again, like as a control player, I like the games that go long because that's where I have the best success. I don't really push early a lot of times. Like playing a deck like Rogside where I do push early, even some of the games where I do push early, I get stopped. I mean, I've been stopped on turn 1. I've been stopped on turn 2, you know, and like after turn 3, I'm like, well, I'm playing a bad mid-range deck.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, like as a deck that wants to go long, I don't know that restarts actually benefit me. And it got me even rethinking like my whole philosophy on draws, because I almost think that me playing to the draw is benefiting everybody else at the table. Whereas like I should be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I should be playing more to win, but like consistently find ways to push in that late game. So like instead of more interaction, more density of win cons, I guess. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's got me thinking. It's really like I actually didn't think that this would get the wheels turning as much. And I know that like this isn't screaming and cussing and crazy Blake that's like ADHD brain as much as it is, but like this is more like me thinking about the game as like somebody who wants to get better and like a little more methodical. But like that's really fascinating. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's got me really thinking.
And I guess to go off of that point, it's almost like it puts you in a different mindset for deck construction itself.
Mhm.
If you're talking about like pushing more for like either early win attempts or putting in more like win cons in or things like that. But I think that that's the kind of the opportunity that the concept of the restart provides in a way where maybe you can go in a direction even in a control deck where you can try to get more of the early lead or be able to push for more consistent wins or push for more win attempts even in something like Zur. Like if a restart is there and you have an opportunity to go, fuck it, we're gonna get Necro instead of Ristic, we're gonna go into the Necro plan, and then like you send a Necro plan and you get stopped, you might be like, okay, let's go ahead and do a restart because now I can switch to my game plan that I have been doing and control the game a lot more. Like it kind of gives you a little bit more like say in that regard too of like how you want to push the deck, which is kind of neat. That's the way I guess I kind of view it. It's just like if you had to, you could go into like the Turbo Zur plan with the Necropotents and shit like that. And just if you don't get there, restart, and then you go into the game plan that you're used to. Like, yeah, you have less time on the clock, but again, it kind of allows you to like sit back in what you're comfortable with at that point because you have an opportunity to do it again.
That's pretty funny. Like just push, try to get there on your instep, realize you're not going to get there, and you're like, I will sculpt a hand of 7 interactive spells and no one will win this game. You're like, born upon a win, and they counter it, and you're like, no one wins this game. If I'm not winning,
yeah,
no one's winning.
He likes to hold the table hostage.
It's not true. It is true. It's very true. What was it Yah said? He was like, it's like what was it? Or like therapy. What was it? He was like, it's like holding someone hostage. They have to have a conversation with you now, and like I get to say whatever I want and they have to listen.
Yah that said
I think
that
that was Yah. No, I think Yah said
Oh,
that. Alan made a comment about that, but Yah, I remember he said something about that where he was like, I think it was something about therapy, but he was like, I love it. It's like you're literally basically they have to sit there and listen to everything that I want to talk about. I love him so much, dude. He's so funny. But yeah, it's kind of that same thing. Like I'm not gonna force you to listen to me. Like you don't have to. But it's like I commented this on one of Zach's shorts that he put. But like me and Eric were talking, and he said, "Born to yap, forced to play." That's that's true. Like I would just rather sit there and just have a full fucking conversation for 80 minutes than actually like play the game half the time.
God.
But I play the game because it opens up the opportunity for people to have to like listen to what I have
Well,
to
see,
say.
if you get restarts, not everyone walks away when you force the draw early game. You have to go again, and you get the full 80 minutes of conversing with people that are forced to listen to you.
That's a good point.
Damn, he might like restarts now.
I'm pro restart. Welcome back to the no. Yeah. No, I think that that's actually funny. No, like I said, it really does have me thinking. I really wanted to like get a little more methodical this year, anyways, with like this coming year with the mindset I guess I'm taking into cEDH.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, man. I've been just kind of sporadic with everything, like literally everything, like training, like whether it's jujitsu, lifting weights, cEDH, like all this stuff. It's just been all over the place because I feel like there's been so many different like moments where things have changed this year as far as life goes. And I'm hoping, well, obviously in the you can plan and then just not go to plan, but like I'm hoping that next year is like a little bit more of like a consistent year, and then I will have the opportunity to like get more into the weeds with the stuff that I'm doing. And so I'm really excited to approach this, I guess, like more methodically, like how I would if I was taking it super serious.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because like just that one little rule change like has me rethinking the way that I would play certain decks and like certain strategies. And I don't know. I just think it's like I said, it's super interesting. I know that I'm kind of just spinning my wheels at this point, but I think that it's super fascinating. I think that draws would be like very interesting. I would love to try some of them. I know you would hate them if we did them on the channel.
Well, when are we gonna do the chess clock?
Fuck that. Never. Nobody's gonna tell me when I can't fucking talk.
Maybe we'll go back to the chess clock.
Yapping is a game, actually.
Fuck no, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No.
Play to win confirmed it. Have you not seen that recent video?
No.
They were talking about how now when they edit the games, they look at like everything that is said, like any word or anything. There's like a game action, and so they've been keeping a lot more of that stuff in. And so whenever somebody like says something that like is trying to even slightly influence somebody, they used to cut that stuff out, and they would only take like the actual like cards being played.
That's how I edit our gameplay.
I know, but sometimes you cut stuff.
I mean, I have to cut a lot.
I know
of things.
I don't shut the fuck up. I get it.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You if you had a different co-host, the editing would be so much easier.
Boros Wayne, please, please.
Zerta go fast.
Zerta go fast. Edit our stuff. Zerta goes real fast at editing our stuff, but yeah, there's a lot of yapping from the behind the scenes stuff. Not really behind the scenes, but everything that happens in the gameplay. And actually, maybe the moment Blake starts talking is when we actually need a restart, because not only does he yap a lot, when he's not yapping, he's thinking, and he's yapping internally, and so his turns take like 20 minutes.
Man, I don't know. Like I said, it's hard. I have a lot of ADHD, and then I just can't focus. And then
at some point, you can't blame the disorder.
Yeah. I mean, I don't normally. I just say it. I just like to talk. That's all it is. But like, if you're gonna give me the out, I'm gonna take it. Fuck it.
No longer giving you the out.
Born to yap. But yeah, no, like I said, I enjoy. I don't know. I just like playing the game. I think it's fun right now, and like, I like where the meta is at, where people are feeling like they can actually like explore different stuff. They can explore different decks. They can explore different strategies. They can explore different rules. Like I literally feel like, I don't know if it was because of Critical, but like it may be, but like them doing the league stuff has created a situation where there are so many games being documented now, because used to there was not a league like that. There was not that many games firing constantly over and over and over and over and over. And so because of that, Top Deck has been able to take in so much data and just try, and they're able to test and try stuff. So like now this league is literally like a testing ground for different rules, different rule sets, different strategies, different things, like all this different stuff. And I think that is just so fascinating
Right.
to see how all of this stuff will ultimately like affect cEDH. I think that the main rules being intact is very important and like integral. I don't really like when people suggest the rules where it's like turn seat 4 gets to start with a land, or they start, they get to fucking scry 18 and like put, their favorite 6 on top of the deck, and then they get to draw an extra 6 cards, and then they get to like shoot the player in seat 1, and then like like everybody's like seat 4 is so handicapped. We must kill seat 1. Like, that's literally what they do. They're like player 1 or player 4 at any point may get up and stab player 1 to death if they cannot win the game. And everybody's just like, I think that's a good rule change. But so I don't like that kind of stuff, but I do like the idea of
he doesn't like murder. That's
I didn't say that.
you shouldn't
I
like murder.
I did not say that.
You might throw someone in an event, but don't fucking kill them.
I didn't say
Like
that. I like being in C4.
I think he's the only cEDH player like in the country probably that likes playing in seat 4.
It really is nice. I'm not gonna lie. Like most of my wins come from seat 2 and seat 4, which is very weird.
It's very weird.
It is very weird. It's because I have people to point at and say, "You're the problem."
But you know what? Like I don't like. I agree with you in that I don't think like extreme rule changes is the right way of going about it just yet. There's too many nuances and complications, like to just randomly test things with like seed order stuff. Even though like it is a big issue, no one's like really no one has a true answer to it. Like yeah, I guess the only way to figure it out is by testing shit. But the more and more you kind of like keep let's try this, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. Like people are gonna be like, fuck, I'm burned out right now. I don't even want to play the format if it's gonna be constant changes like that. But I do think that the restart has been something that's maybe not tested enough here, but has been tested enough outside of the US meta. And it does seem like it has a positive response from like good players within the community enough that we can go, maybe that's something that we adopt and just see what we think about it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think it's such a substantial change to anything that it drastically like just shapes the format or shifts the meta in like a whole new direction. But time will tell on that one. So
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, I think that I just like where the format's going. I'm just happy. Like I'm happy that we're able to participate in this space. I think it's fun. I think it's cool to see all these new like rules and the way that different people approach different things. I think that a lot of it is just like, again, it's just very fascinating. I think that even like some of the stuff Japan does, man, like they do, what do they call it? Like I wish I can remember the name of the event, but like essentially it's like a King of the Hill type of thing. And what they do is like God of Commander, that's what it is. They call it the God of Commander. And at the event, everybody plays until you get into like top 4, and then the returning God of Commander immediately gets into the finals. They don't have to play through the tournament. They come back.
oh wow.
And they immediately go into like into seat 1, I think, and like in the tournament, and then they play, and then whoever wins that is the new God of Commander. So when they host the event the next time, that person is guaranteed to get into the finals pod. And I think that is very interesting. And I think the
It's
God of
literally
Commander,
like John Cena
yeah,
coming in and defending a title that he lost. But it was just defending a title in a fatal 4-way.
pretty much, yeah. Well, what's crazy is I think the God of Commander that won this year was the same one that did return from the previous year.
Really?
Yeah, so they got the dub again, like they repeat, which is cool. But Like I said, it just rules like that. I find it very interesting. Like I think that doing that kind of stuff, like changing the tournament rules, makes a lot of sense. I don't really like when people like mess with the actual like rules. And this is something I guess coming from Yu-Gi-Oh, and you may have been even trying to like wrap up right there with that comment. But like this is just something that I've noticed from like a Yu-Gi-Oh perspective. And I'll not a lot of people probably play Yu-Gi-Oh that are playing this game, but one thing that used to piss me off so much with that game is that they would errata cards very often. And I think that it makes sense to like change the text to match the more current rule set, if that makes sense. But they would like completely errata cards rather than just like getting rid of a card, like banning it or unbanning it or whatever. They would change the text on the card and what it actually did, like the effect.
Yeah.
And then you would like play a card, but then like you would look at the card if you had an old copy of it and it would say something totally different than what the new one did. So the effect was very different. So like players would sometimes get a hold of old copies of cards, do the effect, and people would be like, "Oh, it doesn't work that way anymore." And they'd be like, "I'm doing what the card says," like the whole literally like reading the card explains the card. I don't like getting into that territory because like you're then literally warping like the pieces to the game, almost like the hybrid mana thing. Like I'm not. I kind of think that's one of the reasons why I'm not the biggest fan of that. Which I like what someone said, where they made the comment. They were like, if I can cast one half of the requirement, why wouldn't I be able to cast a spell? Like if it only required blue, like say I'm a mage and I need blue mana to cast the spell and it requires either blue or red, why wouldn't I be able to cast it if I can produce the blue mana? Maybe I can't produce red, but I can produce blue. I was like, that's very interesting. I think my biggest problem was like the idea of like the color identity. Like we look at the commander and your deck build as like color identity. It's the thing that the format's literally based on. And you can't really like, it's weird that whenever you're building the deck, you can choose whether or not this card is a green spell or a yellow or white. Sorry, green or white spell. But then when you cast it, it's both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then when it's a permanent on the battlefield, it's both. And I think that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about where if it's in the deck, it needs to be always like no matter what, it's always should be considered like it, you know what I mean? Unless there's a reason that it's not. So yeah, like changing like the actual rules and the way that stuff functions, I think is weird. I like the idea of changing the actual tournament rules because I feel like that kind of stuff is what is unique to us as like cEDH players. Like we share this format with casual players, so we shouldn't go and like try to change the whole way the game is played because like that has ramifications for casual players too. Changing the tournament stuff, tournament is unique to us. Like we are the ones playing in the tournament setting, not casual players. They're just sitting down with their friends.
Yeah.
So if all of a sudden we try to change the game and say you're going to scry 2 and seat 4, well then casual players are going to be like, what the fuck? Like why are we all of a sudden changing? Like I've played this game for years. Why is it changing? And I'm not a big, I guess like not a big fan of that. Mainly because again, like there are people that have played it for a long time and then all of a sudden you got to adopt this new rule set. But then again, you got shit like football that'll be like, we're changing the kicking rule. And then they change it, and then the next year they're like, "We're changing it again." So like, who cares?
And that's why I said like it goes back to that point I made just a little bit ago on like it's not such a drastic change that I don't think it would be like format warping or anything like that. Nor do I feel like it would just like straight up piss off the majority of the community and people stop fucking playing cEDH and I'm going to switch to Legacy now or Pauper. But like I don't think anything like that would happen. But I do think it could be one that people at least would go, let's give it a shot and let's see what happens. Because we've seen like the community, if it doesn't like something, it will respond very quickly to it. But I think from a global perspective, the idea of the restart hasn't been something that has been just like cast out and shunned upon and been like, no, fuck that. Nobody like this. Like it keeps happening. So apparently something right is going with it.
Yeah.
So.
And again, I think that'd be cool. I think that exploring stuff like that is very interesting. And I kind of like that. So I'm more open to like those sort of changes. So I would like to see what that would be like. I wonder if, I mean, hell, dude, I'm sure people would fucking hate that, but maybe we try it for a game, like one game.
Doing an actual restart.
Yeah, like we could try that just to see, like, hey, we're gonna, for this month we're gonna play with like restarts, and then somebody's watching our fucking gameplay, and like we're timing the round, how we're supposed to, and then all of a sudden they see like bogged down board state, and the next thing you know the game's wiped clean, and they're like, what the fuck happened?
People would probably fucking hate us for that. But fuck it, people hate us anyways.
It's all good, man. I I think that this is okay. Now this is totally off topic. I think that it's important. This is, I don't know. This is more, I guess, coming from a perspective. I I'm trying to think of how to phrase this. I don't want people who try to suggest these types of things to feel discouraged by the backlash that the community may give sometimes, because like the ultimate thing to remember, and I feel like this is true with like content creation, true with like that kind of stuff, anything like internet related, anything.
Yep.
The things that get traction are the things that elicit strong responses emotionally. Like if you think about what shorts do well, like a lot of times when you watch a short, it's not necessarily like the most entertaining short that's going to be like, oh, wow. Like it's the stuff that elicits a response. It's looking at somebody fucking cutting somebody off in traffic and then the video makes somebody pissed off, or it's somebody cutting somebody off in traffic and then crashing their car. And then you're like, haha, but like you got what you deserved. You know, like it's, you know, somebody fucking pushing over a grandma and then everybody's like, you know, it's the strong emotions. Like a video of somebody kicking a dog will I probably get way more views than a video of somebody telling somebody how to do some, like how to fucking fix your sink. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
because the one elicits a strong response. So I think that whenever people say stuff like, oh, restarts, you are going to get a lot of people that are going to go, that'd be kind of cool. It's not a strong enough opinion. Like the positive feeling towards it is not strong enough for me to go and like say some shit online about it. If I really don't like it though, and I feel very strongly negative towards it, it's very likely that I'm going to go on there and be like, fuck no, this is terrible. This is stupid. It's very common that that's the kind of stuff you're going to see. You're
Right.
going to see the negative side because people are way more likely to voice the negative opinion than the positive opinion. So I don't want people that are trying to do new things to feel discouraged in the space for that kind of stuff. Because again, like even in like some of the stuff we talk about on the channel, thankfully we have a lot of really good friends in the space that say very nice and like positive things on our videos. And I'm like, I appreciate them. But you also are going to get a lot of negative stuff because the people that have nothing better to do than be like, your fucking video sucks dick. That like, of course they're going to comment that because they feel very strongly about the fact that our video fucking sucks. And they want to be like, I hope Chase and Blake fucking off themselves because their audio sounds like dog shit. And then I'm just like, I'm about to do it. No, and I'm going to write a fucking message saying it was your fault. No,
God.
it's you, fucking insert fucking profile name 1 2 3. You know, fuck you. No, but no. but
I don't know if we can say that.
authenticity.
Oh
But I'm just saying. I think that all that to say that I think that if you have ideas, don't let the negative opinions make you feel like it is a bad idea. Like there are people out there that are going to think like, wow, that's a pretty cool idea. And you may not get a ton of that feedback in the moment. You may get more negative feedback in the moment because somebody feels very strongly negatively about it. But eventually the people that will come to your defense will be the people that are like very strongly like in favor of it. And the overall majority may actually like it. And you're just hearing the vocal minority. So like, just, I want people to encourage, I want to encourage people to like keep experimenting and doing this shit. I like what Critical's doing. I like what other people in the space are trying. Even like Hire talked about like they tried something at an event and they changed like the rules, just like we're testing something. And he said he got so many comments of people just like shitting on him. And I literally am like, dude, there are probably a ton of people that liked what you did. You're just hearing the ones that didn't. Like,
You're not gonna please everyone.
yes, just keep doing you. Like the changes are making this format even more enjoyable. Just keep experimenting and doing stuff. I like where things are going, and I'm really happy that we have so many people that care enough about this space to like try. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not even if it's like a failure, you're trying. So
Yeah, it's kind of like how we are trying to talk about restarts tonight, even though we've never experienced it and we don't really know anything about them other than what we quickly researched before we came together and decided to record on something. But it is still a interesting topic. So if you have opinions on what restarts are or your thoughts on like how you view restarts in the format, how it could impact the US meta, like your local meta, things like that. If you like them, if you don't like them, if you love them, if you hate them, if you just go fuck them, I don't give a shit whatsoever, or have just an indifferent opinion on it, let us know in the comments down below.
also, We totally forgot to do any of the housekeeping stuff.
Well, that's why we're doing it here at the end.
Correct. So, yeah, if you also want to play this game and try some shit out that's pretty new and really good, you should go to Man of Vault Proxies and get some really nice proxies because Notorious does good work over there. And he's actually changed up the method that he's been using to print proxies because he got a better machine and he actually sent me a video of it. It was pretty fucking sick. Like, he's kicking ass, dude. So, stuff's just going to keep getting better. So go use the affiliate link, use code CCC. I have to remember it that way because if not, Chase will fucking stab me.
And he'll look back at himself and edit and go, fuck, why did I do it that way?
Yeah, there'll be one section of the video that's just backwards.
It's just
but yeah, so do that. And then there was something else that I was going to mention.
Well, you think about what it is you need to mention over there. But yes, do that down below. Either click the affiliate link, use code CCC at checkout, get 5% off of your order. Also, join our Discord and our Patreons. Like, we have that down in the links below for our channel Discord. We have our Patreon, everything that we have that's going on in Patreon. We're continuing to like figure out some things that we want to do exactly for it. We need to update things and actually put more stuff out there, but like that's for he and I to kind of discuss with in our after hours like board meeting stuff, but more to come on that. But everything that you do contribute to that goes back into the channel, helps us with whatever fucking audio issues that we have, whatever camera issues we have, lighting issues, cat issues, baby issues. I don't know, it helps us figure this shit out as we go for the most part. Is what I feel like at times, but it is greatly appreciated. And something that all of that support, like it helps us kind of keep doing this as far as putting in the time, the dedication to try to put out content for you all. I'm not gonna say quality content because my mic is probably shitting out most of the episode anyway, but it's content nonetheless for you guys. So if you want to help contribute to that, join us on Patreon and support there.
Yep.
The Discord is still free. Come and join in and have conversations with the community that we're trying to continue building there, because we got a lot of good people in there that are willing to help and just a lot of people that we appreciate in there. And also, if you are in the state of Kentucky, join the Kentucky cEDH Discord. I want to see like at least 200 people in that Discord in particular, like by the end of the year. I think we're still like under 100 right now, but we've only had it open for like a few weeks at this point. And so if you're in Kentucky or any of the surrounding areas, join that Discord as well.
Yeah. And the one of the things I was gonna say, and I totally just blanked on it. I've really appreciated like the people that get to the certain point in the video and they comment like the word or like all these different things. But yeah, like if you've gotten to this point in the video, like let us know in the comments, like have you played in a game that has like utilized, or like a tournament that's utilized restarts, and like what is your opinion on it? Like I would love to know what your feelings towards it are. Like was it good, was it bad? Like give us the details. I think that'd be really, really cool,
especially since right now, like I feel like a lot of this, like we're super indifferent to it, I feel like, and it's because we don't know. Like we've never experienced it. We've like, it could be a positive thing, it could just be a really bad thing for us. But again, a lot of players that have experienced it seem to have a positive reaction to it. But so again, let us know down there below in the comments what your thoughts are on it. Outside of that, is there anything? I don't think there's anything else.
not unless you want to restart this episode.
Welcome back to the Casting Cost cEDH podcast. I'm Chase.
And I'm also Chase.
I'm doing a reverse order now.
And I'm Chase's dad.
That really fucked him up whenever I was the one to lead that off. Did you see that?
It really threw me off. I was like,
So
I changed my mind. Person that comments hateful comments, you're not going to be the person in the note. It's Chase.
But yeah, comment this stuff. If you really want to help us out and you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe, like, do the comments, check the affiliate link, and as always,
go play some cEDH. 22, restart. Go.